Welcome back to Basic Banter for Witches. You're stuck with me, Jess. Thank you very much for coming back. And if you are watching this on YouTube, you will see a beautiful face beside me. I've got a special friend. His name is PJ, and he's with Puca Vogue Paranormal here in Killarney, Ireland. So thank you for coming today, PJ.
No, thank you for having me on. And I'm here laughing. You're going a beautiful face. I would say a face for a back of a bus.
Not even, no. I mean, I feel like all of our guests have been like, you bring a different like ray. Do you know what I mean? Like I shouldn't say you're not a sunshine ray, but I do think that the different people, different qualities come through. Do you know what I mean? So I think you are a light. So that is fantastic. So thank you. Truly.
Easy
Well,
tell it's not done first thing in the morning. That could be a different story.
that is a different story. But that's a different story. This is like we're on the same time zone and I still choose to look like this at this. I look like this all day. So that's all right.
You look beautiful.
Oh, thank you, PJ. Go on. So I guess I want to start by kind of telling everybody how we met. So when I was filming the Phantasm Collective with Anthony Kerrigan through Ghost Era, one of our episodes was down in Casservine. You and your team joined us for the episode. So I actually got to meet you there. I think was that the first time I met you?
That's the first time. Hang on a minute now. Were you down at Wexford?
No.
I was gonna say I was wondering did we meet at Wexford? So that was the first time. So
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was such a like. I mean, that exploration, if you want to call it that. The investigation was really, really neat. Very special building. Um, it was the barracks, the old barracks, I believe.
yeah, the
Yeah.
old barracks. And like there's been so much that's happening down there down through the years, but it was I won't lie, it was absolutely our pleasure to watch you guys at work and fair play. Well done to you. Like it was
And
fantastic what he did as a team, to be fair.
it was fun. Yeah. I like have to laugh because like with every episode, this is like in like my readings and everything. I think I kind of told you once I do a reading, it's like out the door. So I'm like, yeah, I went there. I can't remember much, but I do remember I went there. Like the scripts aren't familiar anymore. There's like none of that anymore. So I'm like, I don't know. I know I was there. There's the videos to prove it, but oh no.
It's like everything, it's done and we move on to the next investigation or the next gig or the next thing, and that's it.
Exactly. Like you hold on to the relevant information, but like there's like the little fine-tuned bits that I'm like, I might recall, but not at the top of my head. But um so PJ, can you kind of give our guests or our listeners a little bit of an idea about you and your team and kind of how you got started here?
Yeah, so I suppose for me, like I'm a paranormal investigator. I suppose over 20 years or 20 years at this stage.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's like everything. Sometimes I think these things are in our blood. We just don't realize it to start off with.
Mhm.
For me, where it all began was, and I think I was saying this to you before. It was one incident in particular. I remember I always said two separate minds, two separate people. When I comes at things paranormal, I like to separate reason from the environment.
Mhm.
And myself and my friend, we were staying in a relation's house. Somebody passed there. Of course, I like a good solid sleep, so I was like, okay, somebody died in this bed, but that's fine. It's still comfy. Thank you. My friend was like, not a hope. So at some hour of the morning, so it was a two-story house, and of course, the upper part of the house, there's nothing joined on, and it was just like as if a man just ran across the bottom of the room, like a jelly-shaped man, just straight across. So, do you ever have that instance with a friend where you finish the sentences? It was like, "Did you see?" And I was like, "What I saw, jelly-shaped man."
Yeah.
So two separate minds, two separate people, and I mean, like my friend would be the furthest thing from anything to do paranormal,
Yeah.
and that happened. So then it made me question an event when I was younger. There was like this old house. There was no back door. There was a gang of us as kids, and it was a little old cottage not far from where I grew up. And I remember there was a loud bang in there, and a week had moved from, say, on top of wardrobe down on top of buggy, and I was kind of going, "Oh my god, this." These two things came back, and then just by chance, I seen an advert about a ghost hunt. So
Yeah.
I said to another friend of mine, I was like, "Listen, will you come?" He was laughing, going, "For feck's sake," but I'll go for the crack anyway. So off we went, and that was it. I
Yeah.
started learning, watching from other people, building the trade. And I did work with other paranormal investigators for a long time. But then, of course, life moves on, people evolve, and I wasn't ready to give up the ghost, as they say.
Yeah. No, fair
So,
enough.
so it was around 2020, and nothing was kind of happening. And my mom was actually passing a cancer.
Mhm.
So she said to me, but she'd started listening and hearing footage, and I started showing her things. And what started off as a joke, she'd be like, "An Irish word is the pookies. I don't know if you know the Irish word pookies."
I've only heard of it, but I'm not like too
Yeah.
aware, let's say.
So pookies would have been like long ago. It would have been like a traditional word for like that ghost or strange phenomena. They'd be like, you know, oh, the pookies are going to get you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The unknown. And she used to joke about it. And then when I started showing her the footage and the clips, she started really getting interested in it. And then she was like, "Why don't you make up your own team? Just go yourself. Just
Yeah.
go. Stop
Just go.
sitting around. Just go." So Maria, another friend of mine who's a ghost hunter, she was working in the background of me. We came up with the name. We built a Facebook page, and we were like, "Let's do this." And kind of under my nose, the team was there because Maria still joins us from time to time. She's
Yeah.
like my support that I bounce ideas off of, and we try to look at locations because she's based in Wicklow. It's
Yeah.
hard for her to be in every investigation and life circumstances as well.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
So so there's Maria in the background. Then there was myself, and Leo is my son. Is 24 now.
Yeah.
I had to double check his age in my head. I was like, is he still 24? And he'd grown up, of course, with me watching footage, reviewing footage. Probably, let's be fair, probably wasn't the best upbringing to give a child, but he couldn't escape it either.
Yeah.
And next, I was kind of going, okay, so I have Maria in the background, I have Leo with me. He's big into it, and it just happened that his partner Eva, who he's gone out with, she had a massive interest always in paranormal. And then there was two friends of theirs. There was Rory and there was Veronica. So next thing, all of a sudden, we just
Yeah.
had our team of five, and it was just right under our nose. So then we had started, and like I was very lucky. There was even a friend of mine, Brendan, who used to jump in and help me in the beginning, in the early days, help get off the ground. And next thing, of course, COVID hit just as we were starting.
Yeah.
But like the pressure I had was my mom was always a funny person. She would take with life and death, she'd have humor. And she was like, I want to see this live and I want to see it working before I die.
Yeah.
So no pressure, like no
No pressure.
pressure,
Like,
no pressure at all. Like I'm up against the clock here with a lady.
yeah.
So that's how Puca Vogue then evolved. But it got a slow start because we just kind of started. Next thing COVID hit. And next thing it was just the last couple of years, then it's just really become its own identity. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
No, of course.
that's where it came from. And it's like everything. I often said it was an interesting one as well, because of course I'm coming from age and experience.
Yep.
They're coming from youth with
Yeah.
new technology, new ideas. So
Yeah.
I said it's kind of a merge of the two. So
Yep.
like while I might lead on the old style techniques and what we've done, of course they're watching the newer stuff and what people are trying. And like to be fair, they're fantastic. They've stuck with it.
Yeah.
And it's made us as strong as ever. So we're going off now this weekend. We're going
Yay.
to Step Castle this weekend. So another road trip.
Yes, that's right. I knew you were doing lab. That's wonderful.
And
Oh,
like the great thing is as well is we have like at this stage now, like I often when I do an investigation or we do an investigation, I should say, we kind of cap it at 10.
yeah.
So we'll say if we have the five of the team going, we'd say, okay, there's five spaces left. So we've met regular people down through the years as we investigate. So they've kind of come along the journey with us. So
Yeah.
I'd have to shoot the message out to them of, okay, I've got LEP happening or I've got this. And the first ones that book, they all know the situation is first one in gets the space.
Yeah.
And like that, so a lot of the time I know I don't even have to advertise the spaces because I have a backup list there already.
Yeah.
Like Halloween, all right, because we do a couple of nights in Halloween in Redwood. I
Yeah.
always throw that out to the public because I always like for new people to get to experience what we do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I now have regular guests that have become part of the Puca Vogue family as well.
Yeah.
So you're trying to find that balance. So it really just has evolved into its own identity, and so much so then, like yourself, like the likes of yourself and Anthony and the team at Ghostira, I always say when you meet great teams like yourselves, and it helps us move all along together,
Yeah.
because I could have a location, you could have a location, I could share a post with you, well, you could share a post with you. It's about building to open more doors. Like we're all
Yes.
like, let's be fair, Jessica, you're working full time, I'm working full time. We
Yeah.
don't get paid for anything we do. This is all solely for passion.
This is passion project.
This is
Exactly.
passion. And
Ex-
it's a second and third job. We're sitting at
yeah.
home listening to hours worth of footage, hours worth of audio, and as I say, like
Yeah.
we're not a TV show. We're
Mm.
putting it out there, and that's the best we can do. Because we're you can call us a ghost hunter, ghost chaser, paranormal investigator, whatever tag you put on it. Like we're researchers. We're trying to talk and find out more about what's next, what's in the next life.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's that investigation, like it's truly like finding answers and decoding what we find, right? Um, I really love that, yeah, the diversity over your team and the fact that you've kind of found that common boundary. Now when going back, sorry, to your name, Puca Vogue, where did that originate from?
So where it originated from was, of course, like puka is a word everybody in Ireland already knows. And
For me.
myself and Maria were there going, what are we going to call it? What do we do? And we were trying to come up with so many names, and we were kind of going, I just didn't want to have like the ghost hunters. I wanted something, I suppose, that was just going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Then we came up with Puka, and then it was very weird actually. Myself and another team actually launched the exact same day. We both created our accounts the same day,
Yeah.
both with Pukas. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh no. And it was too late when we realized each other had done. So then I said, okay, look, I'm going to add something extra into mine. So then
Yeah.
we were laughing, kind of going to know, like she was saying to me, oh, you've got the Vogues and messing through music and the word song. And then we went, okay, Puca Vogue, that's got a nice ring to us. So we're like, keep it simple, Puca Vogue Paranormal.
Yeah.
But the one thing I suppose in hindsight, like that's our identity. But what I forget now too is I had recorded an episode in Loftus Hall with Vogue Williams.
Okay.
And you know, we do something like you said, and you forget about it, you kind of put it to one side.
Yep.
And now I get asked a lot, is it called after Vogue Williams? Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, no, it just
No.
literally happened.
Just
This is the way.
happenstance. That's just how it was. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
completely get that.
So it was like Puka was, of course, the meaning for ghost, Vogue to give us that separate identity, and then, of course, Paranormal Ireland because we're in Ireland and we do paranormal. So
Exactly. Yeah.
that's kind of where I came from. And of course, when I was doing the logo, I was kind of going, I want something that's animal wise, because of
Yeah.
course, I always do like things like I rarely speak about the elementals or so forth. So, like the logo is actually there behind my head. I don't know if anyone can see
Yes,
it.
I can see it. Yeah.
And the red eye is really important, is that? So it just for us it just felt right. That was it.
Yeah. No, that's fabulous. It's lovely when everything kind of just falls into suit and it's if it feels right, it usually is. Brittany and I usually say if it's like a full body fuck yes, it's meant to be. Like it's just
Yeah.
makes sense, right? Um, is I guess in your vast experience of doing these investigations, are there like any points specifically during investigations that stand out to you? Anything that's really scary or really like empowering or moving?
So what I always say, it's you can't script an investigation. You
No,
don't know what's
no.
going to like. I've had investigations where, like as you know yourself, you'll hear or feel or see at that moment in time. But then you'll have the others where you look back in the cameras and realize so much was happening you didn't know.
Yeah,
And like for example, I remember we were setting up a Redwood Castle, and my case was having like a silver latch,
yeah,
and the hall was empty, and you can actually hear the latches of the cases being moved. There's nobody in the room.
yeah.
This was about it must have been before 8 o'clock because we usually set up for 8, and then there's an EVP of come on, and I'm like that's really somebody saying come on, get your act together, let's get going.
Oh, let's
And
go.
then
Yeah.
as you know, you could have one when you go to bed at 4 in the morning, an hour later, something could happen. So
Yeah.
you can't call it. But I will say, like, a couple of the ones that really stood out to me was I was in, a friend of mine arranged an investigation in a private Georgian house in Dublin.
Yeah.
And we had done it, and the owners were saying, like, buckets of paint were thrown at them. There was, like, real activity there. And the really part that stood out to me was we were coming up the stairs from under the street, we'll say. Like you had the stairs going up before you got to the main level, you'd walk in the front door.
Yeah.
So there was a lady in front of me, I was going up, and she took to run, so I'd be hilarious, took to run. I, of course, took to run behind her. She stopped, burst out laughing. I was kind of going, you be. I was
Yeah.
giving out to her.
Yeah.
And next thing, it was just like somebody jumped, rose up in the air and jumped on the stairs behind us. The vibration, the thud, was unbelievable.
Oh,
She
wow.
took off, I took off, and she actually smacked the door into my face and busted my nose,
Oh,
right?
no.
Because she got such a fright. It
Yeah.
didn't see it happening. And of course, I always say Wicklow Jail is the one location it took me a long time to return to because in one of the cells downstairs, I felt like I came face to face. Somebody was at the end of my nose. I knew physically there was no one there, but yet I could feel and see they were there.
Yeah.
And I've never had this before in my life. It never happened since. It was like they put their head into mine.
Mm.
And I took off, I ran, and we were all staying together that night. My face kept getting redder and redder around my cheekbone and heat. If you put your hand near my face, it was roasting. It was getting
Yeah.
hotter as the night went on. And by morning, I'd like 3 triangular marks in my cheek.
Wow.
But at the time, I was ignorant to Jack the Jailer. So Jack the Jailer, the story is he used to brand people like that on the cheeks, on the face. He used to brand people. That was part of what he did. And at the same time that happened, there was a lady 2 floors up going, go down and get PJ, go down and get PJ.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
whether it was all a mixed factor, I don't know, but it's certainly one that I won't forget in a hurry. Do
No
you know what I
kidding.
mean?
Yeah. That's really interesting. Very scary, but like that's why I should say I love that you got burnt in the face. But what I do love is that there's enough history here to go back in the archives and be like, oh, there was this guy who used to burn. Like, do you know what I mean, I think
Right.
that written history is so important to go back and reference. And like think, I mean, obviously I know that that's not available
Absolutely.
worldwide, but like considering we have the archives to go back and look, and I shouldn't say it's not like a Google search. Sometimes it's like a physical something, I just
Physical
think
stuff.
it's really neat. Yeah, very,
And
very cool.
like what I say there as well is like I think I was saying this to you, we did Tara Bridewell in jail.
Yeah.
And as you know, for us as a team, we don't bring under 18s with us.
No.
We're only adults. Smaller location, less numbers. We were locked down, all adults. And when I was reviewing the footage on this, I think it was second last investigation, we actually got a child in the background going, ha ha. And you know what, you can hear the tone of a child? It's a young
Yeah.
child's voice.
Yeah.
And we were like, are you kidding me? And I even
Yeah.
played it for the guests that were there when I met them on the next investigation. I was like, listen to this. And they were amazed because we were fully locked down. We were only adults.
Yeah.
And yet here's this child's voice laughing in the background, having fun.
Yeah.
And then following that was, of course, a big connection that they focus on is Mary, who had children. She went to Australia. You and I both know, of course, there's so much history. There could be so many children going through there. The hotspots are known. You've been there, I'm
Yeah.
sure. And then I remember 2 of our guests, Alan and Pamela, were sitting in Mary's cell. And they were in there. They were on their own. We were uncontaminated. We were all back out in the coffee shop. And like that, they actually, all we could hear was them roaring, PJ, get me out of here. They were like, they were done because they actually heard the child crying, like a young child crying.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh,
again, as you say, there's so much undocumented history, but we're
yeah.
trying to figure out what, who, why, and where.
Yeah. Yeah. I had told you about my trip to sorry, Lep Castle and
Charleville.
Charlottesville, yeah. And oh my God, why am I Richard Felix is the author that was like part of the night. Like he came on the bus. We went and did like the tour. We went back to, we kind of did between the two. And we did discuss part of his book and his theory. This is my brain. I'm blanking on all the things. Now he had kind of figured out that some of these instances are like these replays or flashes or crying or like visualizations of people running and whatnot are like the energy captured in the moment being replayed over like a movie. So it's not like there's a spirit lingering, but there's like the energy of that moment is being replayed over and over again. I just got chills, sorry. Um so like that, I don't know if that feels like it resonates to you. Not to contradict anything that I believe either. Do you know what I mean? I think there are spirits who wander and spirits who reside in spots, but I do think when it comes to those, those really tragic ones as well, because we always talk about the woman in the white dress, or those kind of things. Is like there was a lot of energy in that moment, and it kind of like cemented that in time, right? What are your thoughts on that theory?
Well, I won't lie to you. Like, I get what he's saying because I suppose it's bringing it back to like when you hear about, we'll say, residual.
Residual
So, of
energy.
course,
Sorry, yeah, yeah,
so of course, like they're gonna like it could be to the place, it could be to the person, and so forth. But like I get kind of what he's saying is in this residual, they're still doing, we'll say, that loop, not knowing we exist with it.
yeah,
But and it is something that I do kind of go, yeah, that's quite possible. It's like I'll give you an example to resonate with it. Is there's a house I know where a black shadow will say, so long ago in traditional Ireland there was no toilets in the houses.
yeah.
You added on the bathroom, which now give a porch and a bathroom to the house. So let's say this was start to the house, and this would have been the original ending. So the hallway would have been there with the original door. And I know a house where a black shadow is always seen going one direction, as if just going out the door.
Yeah.
And it's being seen there with so many years, and it is just like, and I've been there like so many times. It's like as if it's residual. It's like that man is still just going about his business, leaving the house.
Yeah.
So yes, there is that element, but then of course you can't just focus on that, because then you have the intelligent.
Yeah.
Like for me, I go when we've had investigations where my name has been called.
Yeah.
Rory's name was called in Redwood. Was it twice in one night? Once upstairs and one on the ground floor.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of going like, you have intelligence that's actually calling your name.
Yeah.
And of course, you do have residual. So I suppose I'm waffling. Coming back to your point, yeah, I agree that there is that element that can be there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? To be fair, I can't say it's not, but from what I've seen, that'd be my first example of that shadow just going, just
Yeah.
keep doing the same
Yeah.
thing.
That's what it's going to do. Yeah. If there's going to be anything, that'll be what you see, right? Yeah.
And it never changes, never differs. It's the same effect seen by so many people down through so many years.
Yeah. But then you're right about that. Then that intelligence factor is like some learned thing. Something is listening or observing and is able
Right.
to again then use what it's learned. But now then we could argue that that's an echo instead of, you know what I mean? It's like
But
it's
now
caught
I'll
the
tell you,
energy and then it's replayed it, right? Not
I'll
again. I'm
actually,
I'm in on your side. So
I think one of the funniest ones though of, we'll say, intelligent responses. A friend of ours had arranged a location in Carlo, and this was actually for Maria. So Maria was like in the room, okay, if there's anybody present, can you, or if it was it present or male? I won't swear now to the question. It was either someone or was it a male? She said, can you knock twice? So you know yourself, you go silent, waiting to hear it, you get the knocks. But what we got back in the recording was actually a male voice going, knock, knock. And
oh
I thought that was hilarious. And it was probably one of the funniest moments that I kind of went, okay. Now, not only was he intelligent, but he was taking the piss. He was having
yeah,
a laugh.
absolutely. I've got two knocks for you. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just simple EVP, knock,
Yeah.
knock.
Yeah.
And I was
That's
like,
really funny.
and the great
Yeah.
thing was, of course, the camera was rolling.
Yeah.
So, of course, watching the camera, you can see no one is saying it, no one's reacting to it, no one
Yeah.
even hears it.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think that I know we've had like chats about like reputable investigators and their methods. I guess because I know you guys as a group, obviously I know us as a group as well. I know the integrity is there. So when I like when
Right.
you didn't have I know some people would say, "Oh, but don't worry, we had it on we had proof that nobody said it." I thoroughly believe you that
Yeah,
that was exactly what you caught. And I hope people listening to that as well. There certainly are some dodgy ones out there that are going to do what they're going to do, and that's their business,
100%. But I
right?
think that's the difference. That's people who are going for fame and glory. The difference, I said, I think it comes back to what I said at the beginning about you, Anthony, your team, our team. When we're working full time and we're basically doing another job, is this is what this is basically another job that we don't get paid for, but it's our
Yeah,
passion. Because
yeah,
we could spend 40 hours a week reviewing footage, recordings, whatever we're doing. That's the difference. And
yeah,
like what I say is, like, I love when I do get a recording in a room where there's no person in it
yeah,
and there's just the camera rolling, because then I'm kind of going, because anything I share, I do make a point of kind of going, we'll share what we captured and what we believe to be true and right. It's up to you to make your decision. It's not my place to make you believe. But I do love when it's totally uncontaminated, there's no one there. Because if you have an empty room and a camera's rolling in the empty room and there's
yeah,
a EVP voice or movement or whatever interactions they are, or if
yeah,
it's tiny with something you're doing on the floor above,
yeah,
I love that. It's there in black and white.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
I won't lie to you. I always say, even to my guests, I can't predict what's going to happen tonight.
yeah,
Nothing could happen. We're going to look
yeah,
like crazy people talking in the dark, calling out. So I always say, make the night your own. Come and enjoy it. I keep mine. I keep mine loose to the degree of make people feel comfortable. So energy is built. I
yeah,
don't go with sticks and rods of you have to do this and you have to do that.
yeah,
Let the castle breathe. Let the house breathe. Whatever it is, we can't predict. We can't call. And to be
yeah,
fair, I've always said nearly every investigation I look back on, I must be doing something right with how I feel we do it, or are we learning from others have done it? Because we always nearly get something. I've never walked out of a location with nothing.
with nothing. Exactly.
Even
Yeah,
when I thought I have, and I have left locations going, unfortunately, it just wasn't to be. And then you
yeah,
go and review and you're like, fake. Was all that really happening behind my back? And I didn't
yeah.
even know it.
I
But
know.
yeah, I want, and that's why, again, I suppose, like bringing it back to yourselves, that's what I love about you guys too, because You'll always know the people that are passionate about it and
Yeah.
they're doing it for what the love of what we do. And we're trying to figure out how can we do more. Because I always say, I don't own paranormal. You don't own paranormal.
No.
Nobody owns it. Nobody can tell you what's right, what's wrong. You
Yeah.
can only do it your way. We can only do it my way, our way. We all learn, evolve. Nobody owns it.
No.
It's for everyone.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's exactly it. Is if you have that curiosity, if you've got that little bit of spark to be interested, that's all you need. And anybody's entitled to that.
Right.
No, I totally agree with you there. Oh
I
my
always say
gosh.
it's not my place to to try convince someone. It's not my place to tell an investigator what to do. It's not my place to tell a guest. I can help and guide an investigation to try to
Yeah.
maximize getting results, as in, allow your 15 seconds between the
Yeah.
questions or your names, or,
Yeah.
if I feel this particular line, I go, okay, well, maybe as a mother and a father, you might ask and try to relate to child, so we'll guide. But at the end of the day, there is no right or wrong. We're all just using our best techniques, the best we know, and
Exactly. Yeah.
building on them.
Yeah. I think my like worst trait when it comes to investigations is that I just want to be friends with everybody, like Earthside and not. So I'm like, hi, I'm Jess. Let's chat.
Yeah.
Like I truly am like that girl, and I'm like, Jesus, you're so annoying, Jess. Like calm down.
No.
But I that's kind of how I always go in. And I just realized it now. I'm like, yeah, I'm that girl who's like, tell me more. Like, how are you? You know what I mean? Like I've told actually Anthony helped me out with this ghost. Her name is Sarah, and she's like in a Killigee graveyard over across from Muckers, the where
Oh, yes, yes.
yes, up there. So it's like one of their old housemaids, and like she has like this like she has her own headstone. She's like on the back and she's kind of behind a tree, and like there's lots of lore kind of around her. And we've kind of had a chat with her like through the Ouija board and that. And like I just like I have this connection to her, and I'm like sure she's like, girl, like what? Because I'm like, hi, I'm back. Hello. Like every time I do that kind of stuff there, I'm like, she's probably like, there's a strange woman that keeps coming to the graveyard, or.
And you see, I love that enthusiasm, I love that interaction, because like I find I'm a touch of yourself where I'm kind of going, yes, love it, everything. My apologies, my dog is trying to
Okay,
say,
you're
get
fine.
in.
If it's not a child or a dog barking in our like podcast normally, it's totally fine. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I was kind of going, like, sticking his nose on the table, trying to raise my hand up to rub him. But like I always say, right, he's made me lose my train of thought. What was
Okay.
it?
Going with a high energy.
Yes, so
Talking
this is
ghost.
what I was
Yeah.
saying. So, like, the fact that you'd be like happy, welcoming, wanting to have a laugh, right? To me,
Yes.
that's raising energy. That's high energy. And I always find on investigations, like I'm a total devil.
Yeah.
If I feel the lads are getting a bit tired or someone's getting a bit tired or something, and yet I kind of go, I know there's energy here, we need to build more.
Yeah.
I'll often just go, I'll grab my hand and they'll get the hop of their life, and people get a laugh and they wake up, they're refreshed again.
Yeah.
And that's usually what builds to bring EVPs or activity. So energy is very important. So I would always say the likes of your energy is fantastic.
Thank you.
But turning it on its head, then I would be, I suppose, I'm someone that would be, is empath the word? That I'd be
Yeah.
kind of going, poor you, or, do you need some prayer, or,
Okay.
right? And
Absolutely.
I always remember it was, even in the last time in Wicklow jail, Marie was like, Jack, she's like, I'm going after him hell for leather. And she was like, PJ, you're just too nice. He's just
Yeah.
not going to bother with you. I'm going to go. I'm going to go after him. And she was like, that's why you got affected even the first time was, he was like going, I don't want your pity. I don't want your niceness.
Exactly.
So
Like
I think, yeah,
you
so I
did
think that's the only time it played against me.
exactly, and that I was thinking this earlier. You almost when you walk into those environments or into those kind of investigations, you have to kind of match the energy sometimes. Do you know what I mean? So like the vibration of where you are, I mean, may be lower, but also I feel like you actually almost have to like leap into it. Do you know what I mean? Like you have to raise
Yeah.
it and then you can kind of join them and meet them where they're at. But again, like you don't know. Um,
No. And
so
it's
in
interesting if we're on investigations, and because we've learned a bit from that of, we'll say, well, I'm being too nice,
yeah,
then somebody else might push it back
yeah,
to see, okay, who who in the room, or who are we talking, man, woman, child, whatever person wants to call them, ghost,
yeah,
who are they going to interact with? Who are they going to answer back? Are they
yeah,
going to go to the person that's, we'll say, on the defensive side, or are they going to go to the person with the empathy?
yeah,
Which one are they going to go? Now, different, fair enough, if you've done investigation like upstairs in Tarbert, where the bath is.
Yeah.
Like we did an investigation where you could hear the solid knock on the bat. It's like a copper material, I think it is.
Yeah.
But and the room was empty. And then we got an EVP of help me.
Oh, okay.
So then the next time you're back, you are thinking, is there anyone here that needs some help? Or you do try, because when I think when you're at home alone late by night, you're watching footage and you hear
Yeah.
that that gives you the chills. You're like, I'm up for another hour now. Thanks very much.
Exactly. Yeah. No kidding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I know, I guess whenever I'm in the investigation, I'm like so in to like experience all the things. But again, I feel like as a nomad here, as somebody who does not sound from like they're like here, right? Or from here, I already know that the language is already going to deter people from communicating with me. I feel, anyways, right? Because it's unfamiliar already. We always say, like, when we were doing the investigations with Anthony, like, these spirits have never seen cameras before, some of them. Like when we did the medieval museum, that was the first time it ever been done, I believe. I could be very wrong. I actually don't know. No, I have no idea. Anyways, doesn't matter. But when those investigations happen, whenever they happen, it's like the first time they're seeing the equipment, they're seeing the cameras, they're seeing, these devices and that kind of stuff there. So that's already throwing them. But then when you introduce the sprinkling of accents and people that are, don't look like the people that were there, I feel like it's all scary, right? Or it can be
Yeah.
off-putting. So I never get anything. Of course, when I communicate with spirit through spirit with my cards and stuff, yeah, I get stuff that way, but it's almost like I needed a translator. So sometimes what I do, and I've done that in a few of our investigations where I do drawings or like pre-reads ahead of time, whereas I kind of sit and
Wow.
I kind of do an advanced reading of what could, what's going to happen or what's going to, whatever. And at the one of the investigations, I kept drawing like musical instruments, and here we were like in again, I don't even know where we're going until like the day I get an air code. Do you know what I mean? Like, where are we going? Tell me how long it takes to get there and I'll plan, drop the kids off and I'll meet you there. But yeah, there was a beautiful music room that was based around this. And we got to, I mean, it was a really interesting experience. But anyways, I like to do a pre-read in advance, not to prepare myself, but I feel like it further like lubricates the connection for me.
Absolutely.
It kind of establishes something there, but I don't know.
And it's interesting you say that, because Maria would have a touch of that.
Yeah.
Sometimes she might say, I get the feeling we're going to meet XYZ.
Yeah.
And I always say to her, like, don't tell me. I don't want to know. You. I think it's great the fact you draw the pictures, you write them. That's your validation. And if somebody kind of matches.
And I think that we live in the world, we need data. We need validation. We need to see
Yeah.
it. Like I drew this, and I like pull up my notebook and I show Anthony, I'm like, look, and I drew this. Like, this is,
I
I
think
did it already.
that's brilliant, because I would often, like, it's funny, I often see it, even with Leo as well, now, to be fair, because I always say everybody has their own niches.
Yeah.
I remember we were doing an investigation, myself and a friend of mine, Gar, who got one of the locations. Even though we were in the dark, there was a group of people. We both started describing children we were seeing coming physically towards us.
Interesting.
And in the dress they were wearing, from, we'll say, the old-fashioned little cap, the socks with the half trousers, the shoes, the old-fashioned clothes, we were like, it's like some of these were like, they're still coming forward. And you two different people more or less seeing the same thing, but there was no physical person there.
Yeah.
Or then like that, we'll say, when you go into the room, I always say we're the best tools for investigating us people. I'm not calling you a tool, obviously.
I get it. No. No,
But
your best tool is yourself. Absolutely. An
yeah,
extension of you is your physical being. Yeah, no problem.
you go in, you kind of go, okay, it feels flat. Or then you're going through a session, the next thing you're going, oh, I've just got that cold feeling. I feel it's coming up. And then you next thing might feel the taps and you feel it building more.
Yeah.
And next thing Leo might often go, is there a Tom here? And I'd be kind of going, where is he coming up with this Tom?
Yeah.
And he'll all of a sudden tune into a name, and he'll build on a name.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, it could be on the presence.
Yeah.
I just know there's someone there. But for Leo, he could take it a step farther. And I always say, and I've stressed this, we are not psychics, we are not mediums, we are none of the above. No disrespect to anyone else, but I will never sit and claim to be any of those things.
Totally.
For investigators. But it's interesting, like you said, but I love the fact that you draw it. I think that's amazing, because that's giving you, like, you're tuned in already. You're getting that step ahead before you hit the road.
Exactly. Yeah. And Anthony's had us do a couple of those in other instances as well, because Derek also is a clairvoyant. And I know like my brother-in-law Cameron, he's also, kind of dabbled in that as well. So at different points in time, Anthony will be like, hey, I just need you to like, actually, Cameron did an experiment for us where he just like had to go up in a room and like lay down for an hour. I mean, just close your eyes, nothing, just lay. Do you know what I mean? And then, but just, like think about whatever, let it take you somewhere. And they were doing some sort of scrying exercise, I believe, and trying to kind of transport Cameron. Like he was trying to like think of a spot and try and like see what he could see through
Yeah.
that kind of method of transportation. But yeah, I mean, I think I love that Anthony is open to kind of all different gifts because I totally agree. Like I practice mediumship. I am not a medium. I like, I don't necessarily, I have abilities that I'm always working on. I'm actually working on, I don't have my book with me right now, but Kim Kranz is like one of my favorite like witchy ladies. And she has this journal and it's practice makes practice. And so we are in our craft, no, we'll never perfect it. Athletes, even, they practice, they practice, they practice. And even when it comes to the big game, that big game is still practice, right? There's never going to be an endpoint. And I think that's important in investigations as well, is we're going to keep trying and doing different things. And then we're going to adapt and we're going to keep, there's no end point for a lot of this stuff. So it's just developing continuously.
Correct, and it is, and it's like everything is trying. It's even like was it last? I think it was around Halloween last year. I think I could be wrong now, to be honest with you. So we've often done mirror scrying. We often do mirror scrying, and I quite enjoy it because it works for some and not for all. But I think you have to tune yourself in, and I'd have to be like, show me you through my face, and we'd be looking
Mhm.
at the mirror, and you can physically see those changes in front of you. I
Yeah.
love that. And you're calling it out because it's so hard to get a camera and it was, of course, reflection mirror. But then we tried it with the double scrying with just the pane of the glass with the red light coming up. And I remember I did a session with Pamela, actually, one of our regular guests. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching her change so much, like her eyebrows, her eyes, jawline. And I was like, I only wish I could share this visually with
Yes.
somebody else to see what I see, because it's a privilege. And
Yeah.
it's amazing to see it. And we've done it quite a lot in Redwood. And it's funny how there's some characteristics, I can never say that word,
Yeah.
comes back up the same. But it is an element. And it's funny, I said this weekend now, something I haven't used is the planchette scrying for, do you know what? It's in my case, I think, for the guts of a year. I was like, went away and bought a new one. I was like, get on with a pencil. I said, that's an easy move.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever used it. So I said, in Lep now this weekend, I think it's time to try it out upstairs
I
in
know.
the room with the long table.
I do. Yeah.
And I like every time we've been there lately, there's been like touch for people sitting around the sides. I know we've got the female vices there for, and I was like, I think this is the time to try it out.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to bring a simple flat board, put it on. Of course, at least you'll have the table with people at both sides.
Yeah.
So interesting. I'll let you know how that one goes.
Truly, yeah, do. Honestly, I'd be really interested. Where, I guess, with your findings after you're done an investigation, how do you go about publishing them?
So I always say, like, of course, we all have social media in our hands these days with phones. Let's be honest. And what I do is, unfortunately I drip feed it because it takes time. Like, I usually have 5 cameras, minimum of 10 hours. So that's like 50 hours to go through.
Yeah.
When I get something that I fully believe is a capture, I
Yeah.
share it, and I share it on Instagram and Facebook,
Instagram.
because of course they're the two channels that you can work with both at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I always say, like, not many people go to websites and things all the time. Like, we do for our website, it's basic, but Instagram and Facebook, anything I feel we've captured is always on our Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
Always, I share them out there, give people the backstory, let them see it for themselves. And I love sharing it because, again, it's not me trying to show or convince you, but for
No.
anyone that's passionate in it like me, I love sharing it. And you'll always know mine are raw because you can actually see I'm recording my mobile phone off my laptop, right? So, and I purposely do it because it's old school. But my cameras are old school. They're the Sony Handycams.
Yeah.
They're great for audio. They're brilliant for EVP work. That's why I love them. And I nearly cry when every time one gets damaged. And it
Yeah.
does happen, of course, with equipment. But I'm watching that on my laptop, replaying it back, whatever. I'm using my phone to record it. So
Yeah.
there's no third apps adding on visuals.
That's true.
They can
Yeah.
see they can see it's coming off my laptop. This is
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And
No, fair enough.
that's where we share them.
Yeah, that's really cool. I won't keep you too much longer here because we're coming up to our hour, I believe. But
I
um,
could actually talk to you all night. Just I feel we've only just spoke for 5 minutes.
didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? It's like coffee with a friend. It's exactly
Banter with witch. I can't say witches, but banter with witch.
banter with the
I have
witch.
a question
Exactly.
for you.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I have to ask you something because, of course, like that. I actually love the fact you're doing your mediumship. I don't think I actually realized that. I didn't realize how much far you were gone.
Yeah.
I'd be very interested to hear your journey and see how you go. But witches, Salem. Tell me,
Yeah.
have you ever been? Are you?
Never been. It has been on like my sister and I's like bucket list to go.
I was
Um,
about.
it's like where we are in Canada, getting down to Massachusetts, which is like in like New England, kind of. It's on like the wet, like the far east coast from where we are. Um, Truly, it's always been something we've talked about. Um, I don't even know if there's any big birthdays coming up that we need to like be like we're gonna go for like Brit's 40th and my 38th or whatever. Or I guess I'm like how old am I? I'm gonna be 35 next year. Maybe we'll do it next year. Um, but like we would love to. We have quite a tie to not necessarily just Salem, but like to the, the magical world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because
But
that's
Brittany
the
is
first thing that
like,
came into my head when I seen name and I was thinking it just I was like I have to ask her this.
yeah,
This has got to be up your street.
honestly, it is like, and I've like, yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed like the research on it. Actually, I don't know if I told you, but we just got a kitten recently. I shouldn't even say we got it. We kind of found it, like rehabilitated it. Now it's living with us. We found it by Alyssa McGee's school. So we are calling her Lizzie. And I like immediately was like, oh, like Lizzie Borden. I was like,
I
oh,
was just
that's
thinking it as you said it.
I was like, oh, Lizzie Borden. I'm like, oh my gosh, like nobody, like this household does not get that. That's like not the same wavelength as like anybody else who resides in this home.
I think
But I'm like,
that's
oh yeah,
brilliant.
it's like should be my little Lizzie Borden.
And I'm gonna have to ask you something because I don't think we've ever actually spoken about this. Of course, I keep forgetting. I just assume because you're in Clarnies, you're like local. You know, you just forget someone where they're from.
Yeah.
Riverview. I've been out to Riverview in Canada. Riverview,
Riverview.
Riverview Hospital. It is. Oh God, my geography is so bad. So when
Okay.
I was in Canada in Vancouver,
Okay.
it's not
Oh,
far from Vancouver.
Riverview. I want to say I was thinking it was like BC, but I'm gonna look right now here. And don't worry, I don't know if you ever watched any of our episodes or ever will, but we do a lot of Googling during because we're like, hey, what does
Yeah,
that mean? Or when did that
but I'm
movie come out?
thinking you, if you surely have come across that one because it's huge. I mean, it's huge to see.
You said Riverview. Was it?
Riverview was mental. Saying the word mental hospital, but I'm surely sure that that's. You think
Um,
you think I know after being there?
no, you're so good. Don't worry. Coquitlam. Yeah, Coquitlam, BC. Yeah. Okay. No, interesting. Located in Coquitlam, BC, operated on. Okay, very cool. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Huge.
I've truly. I don't. I'm like I have to like look on a map because I feel like if I've like typically if you've been through BC, like most people have kind of probably been through Coquitlam. Where's the map here?
Well, now to be fair, my friend was living over there at the time, and like Scott did great to get us there because the sat nav kept bringing us around in circles. It was like
Yeah.
a hidden treasure, and boom, all of a sudden you're on it. But as
Yeah.
usual, there's one huge building. They actually were filming. Was it Aquaman or Scene of Aquaman? I think when we were there, or was it
Oh
DC
yeah.
Comics? And luckily they were filming because we actually got to get in and get a nosy in
Yeah.
that building. Then you go up. There's two more buildings further up above, but and you can even go around and see in the windows. Like there was one office, it was like the doctor's office, and the press doors were open, the paperwork is down there. Then you can see like a cell, I would call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just wondering if you've ever been there.
I've never been, but now looking at the map, like it's on like the east side of Vancouver, and I've been to like most of the boroughs. You could say if you want to call them, I'm just getting murdered from like the people who are like saying it's not a borough, but like Vancouver is. There's like downtown Vancouver, and then there's like the Vancouver area, and there's like Surrey, and there's like North End. There's a whole bunch of little spots. It's yeah, but yeah, I've definitely been through Coquitlam. I don't think I've ever been there, but that's amazing. I could honestly, I could chat to you forever. I'm like, oh, I was gonna say this, I was gonna say that. I will say one thing that's on my bucket list is to go a little bit more international. Like I've never done an investigation like we've done here over in Canada. Never done it. Like we've done our own little bits and bobs. Yeah, me and my sister do house clearings and stuff like that, but we don't go out with the tools like we would have. And so it's on my bucket list. Now I know that you have, or you have plans to, so that's really exciting.
Yeah,
What other things are coming up for you too? Sorry. Go ahead.
so my next ones were, well, of course, like I did, the Myrtles was one I loved. We were talking about that there recently. And of course, I had Juliet Prison then when I did Route 66, and there was two hotels. Of course, they're on my Instagram, Facebook. I can't remember the names. Actually, Anthony guided me to one of the hotels when I was on Route 66 to make sure I hit it on the way. But yeah, so I do like getting outside the box. Like you, though, I feel I need to focus a little bit more on UK. So that's something I need to look at. But my next ones now is in September, I'm doing a trip. I have imagine, 8 airports in 8 days. I'm
Yeah.
going to Idaho, where I'll be based for 3 days. We're doing the Idaho State Penitentiary.
Yeah.
Then I'm going up to Knoxville in Tennessee, and I think it's St. John's Jail we're doing up there.
Yeah.
And we've also got another location booked up there as well. I think it's another prison. So I'll probably be hitting at least three over my 8 days, and obviously we're hoping to add another one or so in along the line. So there'll be no sleep, running between airports, bag on the back. There won't even be clean clothes or hygiene. This is just going to be ghost hunting.
Just go hunting. Exactly. Hopefully there's a shower at these places. But you know what? That's fine if there isn't. Like whatever.
If not, baby wipes and deodorant. It's fine.
Exactly. As far as I know, ghosts really can't smell, right?
They wouldn't want to. Although, funny enough, speaking of smells, and actually, of course, you've been in Lip. This is something I put out a reel on Monday.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we're going to Lip. And I was just speaking about the elemental. So, of course, we once only, in all my years left, this only ever happened once. We were in an area where, of course, they played the Milford Derby, done the Black Magic. It was fired up the stairs off the corridor.
Yeah.
And there was myself and two guests. We were doing an EVP session. We were getting bad vibes, like get out, so forth. But we actually got the smell and stench of rotting flesh. And like I've never before, it was like you had a dead animal or carcass nearly going up my nose. It was horrendous. And as the session ended, so did the smell. It tied in with them at the exact time. But have you ever actually come across that in Lip? It only ever happened once out of all my years.
I don't recall, but now like my experience at LEP is like one of its own. Even Anthony and I kind of chatted about it. It was not what I would have deemed like good. It was very commercialized. It was like the ghost hunt, but like everybody and their mother could come. Not saying no exclusion, but like we're
Yes.
going in there, we're going to stand in the room and nobody's raising the vibration. Do you know what I mean? We're going to do a call out, but we're not doing anything to like, and you know what I mean? It was like, we're just going to go and see what happens. And like, it was just, so I went in with that. And like, I'm like, it was me and my uncle, you would say, and my cousin. And I'm like, we need to like, we're all coming in like this scared little puppets, but there's no, do you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, let's go, so I did not really have any experiences, unfortunately, both at Charlieville and at LEP, because it was just like that kind of group and vibe. I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. I got what I wanted, I suppose. I got what I got.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
It's very hard. I did a big group one with them up in Kennedy years ago, but you don't have the freedom to express your own or try. You're kind of late. It's harder. That's why it's
Yeah,
always nicer with smaller groups. Do you know what I mean?
absolutely. Yeah. And like it wasn't a very large group. There was still about 30 to 40 of us, which is large and we
Yeah,
were split up into groups and that, but it was still, yeah, it just felt like it was a bit more for the money than it was
yeah.
for the experience. Do you know what I mean? I guess it was Halloween, it was a late night, whatever, but yeah. Anyways, okay, so I would absolutely talk to you forever. We know this. But I am going to jump into do a quick little card pull, and then we can kind of see what's is that fair? And now I did say like you're welcome to contribute if you wanted to, but I always find that these are great talking points as well. Sometimes what's supposed to come up will come up. Um, look, see. All right. So as per normal, I try to like I shouldn't say I even try. Sometimes I switch decks around and I'm like, oh, I'll do this tonight. But like I think for all three seasons, my animal spirit deck, I think I pulled this one for you as well by Kim
Yeah.
Hill. Like it's one of my favorites, especially because I with tarot, I find it's not a quick card pull. With this one, I'm like, hey, it's a good like summary. So I always like to say, like, this is for the collective. So when this episode airs, it'll be what you need to hear. Not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. Um, and it may not be for everybody, but it will be for someone. So, or for some ones, let's say. Okay. Okay, okay, the crocodile.
Oh, nice.
So let me just have a little look-see. Interesting, interesting. Okay, sorry. There's some things that I feel like I've gotten him before, but not very many times. So resting, submerging, collecting energy, cooling off. The crocodile reminds us to step back from the external world and turn inward. Now is not the time for decisions, action, or discussion. The crocodile's mantra is wait. This doesn't mean lying around, hoping life's challenges will disappear. The crocodile is much smarter than that. It means intentionally withdrawing, gathering our awareness, observing, and building energy. Fill up the vital reserves so your next move comes from a place of wisdom and power. So when you're in balance, you're wise, patient, and a silent powerhouse. When out of balance, you might feel stuck or lash out. And to bring into balance, rest or a yoga pose, like Makarasana, which I don't know what that is, but that's okay. That's great. Let's just go with rest. Resting is good right now, which I resonate with, but that's fine. I hope that, I don't know if it resonates for you either, but I'm like, okay. I always feel a little called out by these cards, and I'm like, the cheek of you, the cheek of you. So PJ, where can everybody find you or find Puca Vogue?
So, okay, so we're on Facebook and Instagram, so it's just Puca Vogue Paranormal. TikTok, we're trying to build our TikTok. We've gone very bad, hand slapped for not. But yeah, our main outlets really is Facebook, Instagram, and as I say, you will see the other things. So they'd be the main two. So just Puca Vogue Paranormal, you'll find us there. And look, just join a bit of the world of what we do.
Excellent. I love it. No, it's so good. Honestly, it was like a true pleasure having you on today. And I'll make sure to tag your socials in our show notes as well as on our YouTube videos as well. Everything will be there. And in the meantime, you guys can find us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Yep. Wait, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Yep. At base, this is how it is. I said Netflix on the last episode. I was like, no, we're not on Netflix. We're not on Netflix. Yeah, basic banter for witches. And then you can email us basicbanterforwitches@gmail.com. So yeah. Thank you again, PJ. Truly, it has been
Jessica,
so
it has
good.
been the fastest hour of my time. I could sat here talking to you. We probably could have covered so many more things, but look, thank you very much. I really enjoyed it. Great chat.
Honestly, that
And
was
I
so good.
hope to see
Thank
you
you.
soon, young lady.
Absolutely, absolutely. And say hello to everybody else on the team. I would love to have you back. I'd love to have them on as well if they're ever interested. Bring them all on. We can send them their own little Zoom links, or we can even meet in person in Clarny or whatever. It'd be so good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, as I always say, you've got two generations of just craziness.
Hey, that's all right. You know what? It keeps life interesting. Like, right? Life is too
Correct.
short to be boring, so you might as well take
I,
most of it.
100%. That's what I always say. Like it's not a rehearsal. We've got one shot. Let's make it count.
Exactly. All right, guys. All right, well, we'll see you next week. Thank you again, guys, and we love you. Bye.